Good morning. Happy Saturday. As if the day of the week makes too much difference right now. My name is Anthony McMorrin, and you are here at Calm Warrior Yoga, whether that be for 1 minute or 60 minutes, we will be here. And this practice is a slow hatha practice meant to instill calm and to understand what calm means, because it doesn't mean that we don't have emotions and ups and downs. Move the spine in all the planes, and not take ourselves too seriously. One of the practices, the main practices of yoga, is to have an understanding of the ego and to surrender it. But what I learned, especially through my late 20s, early 30s, is that I needed to have an ego in order to surrender it. So in yoga philosophy, the lower chakras are developed first, and it kind of goes in a series. You have to build a house from the foundation up. And because of my wounding and because of my blind spots, because of my unrealized healing, I was trying to flip up into the spiritual, into the higher chakras. So, but you have to have an ego first in order to give it up. And so what does that have to do with taking yourself too seriously? Well, it's only the ego that takes itself too seriously. The self, God, consciousness, that ineffable source of life sees everything the same. So we take ourselves seriously. Our ego, like right now it's a pretty challenging time because our business is closed and we've got our kids all the time and we're moving and renovating. So we got a few things going on. And I noticed that when I get really attached to outcomes, when I really get attached to things being a certain way, when I get attached to my emotional reaction in the moment, when I get attached to a thought as being true, and then I contract. And there's questioning. Who is this that's thinking this? Is this the highest way that I could be acting in this moment? From where does this anger arise? From where does this sadness arise? From where does this narrow belief arise? So to me, that's yoga. And then the asana practice is awesome for coming into the body, bringing awareness in the body. Because if we're only just thinking things from here up, just in the head, it isn't established down in our flesh and in our sensation. So asana practice is a great opportunity to simply, or maybe not so simply, feel what it's like to be in this body in this moment. All right, so enough preamble. Let's just settle into a comfortable position. Every yoga class should begin with centering and with the breath, because ultimately that's where everything finishes up. So we really start with the goal, the end goal. So get comfortable. That could be sitting like this in Sukhasana. It could be sitting in a chair. It could be lying down. And feel the surface that supports you. So notice the places where you're supported, whether that be your sitting bones, your ankles, outsides of your thighs, or your back if you're lying down. And then also notice your breath. So we don't have to overthink it or do anything fancy here. Keep it simple and just track the breath. And notice how the mind flits off from that intention, or maybe not, but if it does, just gently pull the attention back so that you're watching the breath. I once asked a Swami what to do with that mercurial mind, the one that flits from thing to thing, because I go to judgment like that I'm bad or wrong or I should do better. And he just said, treat it like you would treat a small child that's doing a behavior that's dangerous to them. Maybe not, he didn't say that. A small child that's doing something that you don't want him to do or her to do. So you just gently guide them back to, gently and lovingly guide them back to what is correct. Not in a punitive way, but in a loving way, in a directing way, in a guiding way. So when we remove that resistance, see, if you have resistance to the mind wandering, your mind will wander more. Don't worry about the mind wandering. Just when you notice it, just pull it back to the felt sense of the breath. So as you inhale, feel that lifting, expanding. And as you exhale, feel that settling, softening. It's that simple. Allow it to deepen naturally now. So putting some intention into making the inhale deeper and longer, and the exhale deeper and longer. But not so that there's a ton of effort, no muscular efforts required. It's more of an allowing. Just allow what naturally wants to occur. The body wants to take comfortable, nourishing, energizing breaths. And again, notice on the exhale, settling, softening, contact with the earth on the exhale. Letting go of any unnecessary muscular tension or effort. Giving yourself permission to rest on the exhale, to stand down. And at the same time, we're not going to sleep. We are energizing with the inhale. The inhale has a lifting and an expanding sensation. So track that sensation, allowing the spine to lengthen all the way up through the crown of your head as you inhale. Good. All right. It always feels funny in a yoga video class to say good or nice or great work or those kinds of things because, of course, I can't see you. So am I talking to myself or am I talking to you? I'm imagining that maybe somebody's doing yoga, maybe not. Who knows? But in the end, there's only one self. And again, that's the source of calm. That's the self we all share. That's pure awareness. And that's yoga. All right. And also asanas yoga. And so we're going to move the body and get onto all fours, a real common way to get the spine active. If you've never been in my class, you'll notice that I'm definitely not the most flexible yogi out there. In fact, I'm probably one of the least flexible. And so you won't have any trouble feeling bad about yourself and comparing yourself to me, which is awesome. It's our own internal practice. Press the fingers into the mat to hollow out the palm. That's the palm arch, as Ian Finn teaches. And today we're going to have the toes curled under so the feet are active, pressing back. Get long from the base of the spine through the crown of your head. So yoga is an internal practice, and we take shapes to have feelings. All right, and on your next inhale, stick your tail in the air and look forward, drop the belly, tail in the air, and exhale is getting round, tail tuck under, head dropping. And then back and forth in your own rhythm. Arms stay straight through this whole motion. So now you've got the motion. Now feel what you're doing while you're doing it. So feel the whole spine. So it's not just your low back that you're arching or feeling, or your upper back or your neck, but feel the whole spine like a whip, or a snake. And feel the energy move from the bottom of that to the top of that. And notice how you generate heat just from this simple practice. In some ways, any asana, any moment is the moment, the complete moment where the goal is accomplished. All right, we're going to come back to neutral. Ground down through your left hand, lift your right. So the thumb up, reaching. And now you've got that reach, press through your right toes and just push your left leg back. So as if you're standing on the back wall, so you're not pointing the toe, and keep that hip from flaring up too much. Breathe. And back to the mat. Curl those left toes under again, ground down through the right hand. Left hand reaches as if you're shaking someone's hand. Now the right leg goes back as if you're standing on that back wall. Feel that long line. Fingertips to sole. And back to the mat. We'll do that again, but this time we'll add the hip open variation. So right arm, left leg, and then bend that left knee, reach around, and see if that foot's available. If it is, kick into that hand. Now we're going to release it without a spring, so lots of control in that left leg as it comes down. Curl those left toes under, left hand reaches, shaking hands, right leg goes back, right knee bends, reach around, see if that foot's available. If it is, kick into it, kick into that hand. And release without a spring. Bring the big toes together, the knees right out to the edges of your mat, and sit back. Stay nice and tall first. Get your sit bones down onto your heels if they go. And now reach forward, still looking up at the top of your mat. Feel that length through your side ribs. And now drop your head down towards the mat. You could rest your elbows if you want, or you could keep the elbows up in a more active child's pose. Baddha. As space is created, you could pick up that space by dropping the hips, your butt, and all the vertebrae lengthening. All right, so now look up at your hands and check to see that your forearms are parallel, and then drop them down on the mat if they're not. Fingers are spread wide. I don't know if you could see that, but my fingers are spread wide and the fingertips are pressing to hollow out the palm. Again, Ian Finn likes to say it's all in the feet and the hands, and I never got that until I got it. All right, so the forearms go down, fingertips active, and now come up and press yourself back and come out long into Sphinx. So make this pose more active by visualizing a long line of energy from the base of your spine all the way up through your back, through your upper back, between your shoulder blades, up the back of your neck, actually up the center of your neck and throat, and then through the crown of your head, like a jet taking off. Back when we can fly. I just had all my family was going to British Columbia to visit my parents and friends, dear friends, and Sun Country just canceled my flights. So that's not happening. No more flights for a while. All right, now curl the toes under. And if you want to just lift your body off a little bit, we're still warming up, but maybe you lift your pelvis up and drop it down. And now stick your butt in the air and come back up onto hands and knees. So your hands are right under your shoulders, yes. And your toes are curled under. Now bring your hand, one hand print away and press back up into down dog. So pedal it back and forth. One of the things I did for years is I thought my heels were supposed to land on the ground. So I put my heels on the ground and my legs straight, and my back was all curved and hunched until I learned from a teacher to bend the knees and the hips go up and back, and you get way more length in your back. But pedal it out and then end up with your knees bent a ton and get that length through your back. Gaze between your lower legs, pressing the fingertips to keep the wrists stable. And now we're going to walk forward to the front of our mat and stay bent over, okay? And bend your knees a lot and just fold your trunk on top of your thighs. Bring your hands around the back of your back of your calves. Give yourself a hug. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely in hug deficit, touch deficit. All right, now really feel the contact of your feet on the floor, all four corners of your feet. And from that foundation, now you inhale, stand up, reach up, look up. And hands to heart. So this is a slow practice. At any point, when you feel fully warmed up, if you want to work on your asana practice, go for it. On what you're particularly working on, we're going to keep working on opening the spine and finding a little more flexibility and energy. So in Tadasana, come forward onto your toes and then back onto your heels. And then right down through the center of your foot is where your weight goes. And then your tail tucks a little bit and your shoulder blades come down your back and reach to the crown of your head. Breathe. Inhale, halfway, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Inhale. On an exhale, lower down, sending the elbows towards your feet. Inhale, cobra. This is a back bend. You don't press with your hands. And exhale, down dog. Take a few breaths here in down dog. So breathing into your belly, almost like your belly was a balloon. And so your belly, the top of the balloon's actually facing more towards the ceiling, isn't it? Because you're kind of upside down. So filling the end of that balloon, which is your belly, on the inhale. And walk to the top of your mat. And when you get there, stand up, reach up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, bringing all your presence right here, right now. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Nothing else to do right now. Inhale, halfway flat back, reaching through the crown of your head. Plant your hands, step back to plank. Bring your inner elbows forward so that your elbows now go back. Cobra or up dog. And down dog. Breathe. Make your way to the front of the mat. And when you get there, stand up, reach up, look up. Pull some energy down through your prayer hands right into your heart. One more round, reach up and fold. If your rhythm's different, go with your rhythm. Halfway flat back, reach to the crown of the head. Plant your hands, step back to plank. Plank can be on your knees. Lower down to the mat. And then cobra up dog. And down dog. Ask yourself, why do you do yoga? Is it to enjoy life more? Is it to take care of your body? Is it to realize God? something else, all three. Make your way to the front of the mat. When you get there, feel the soles of your feet. Inhale, reach up. Hands to heart. Now press your thumbs into your sternum. Feel your heartbeat. The hub of all sacred places, as Swami Nityananda said. Home. Okay, I've been finding in this time that a simple practice serves me better, so that's what I'm teaching. If you have something more complex, more challenging you want to do, please, 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 of course, do your own practice. Ground down now, though, for the right foot. We're going to crescent lunge on the right side, or it could be runner's lunge on the right side. Ground down through the right foot as you high march or lift your left leg. All right, now we're going to find a home for those toes way back, the back of your mat, and then come up into crescent lunge, or drop that knee into runner's lunge. It doesn't really matter, it's whatever gets your attention. So if you're thinking about what you do right after this class, go deeper so that the sensation gets your attention. If you're gutting it out, hoping it's over soon, lighten up, go easy on yourself. Breathe. One of my favorite poses, crescent lunge. So lots going on here, pressing the back heel back and straightening through the left leg, deeper through the right. Breathe. Shoulder blades are integrated. They're glued down and back on your back as the same time that you're reaching through the fingertips. All right, and now drop that back heel, the left one, if it's not down already, and bring your hands down. We're going to lizard now, so we're going to bring these hands on the inside of that right foot. Anybody that comes to my 9 a.m. Saturday class normally is pretty familiar with this routine, because I feel like it hits the spine, it opens the spine in all the planes, this simple practice, and prepares us for more challenging poses, more challenging contemplations. So deep enough that you're feeling something happening between your right heel and your left knee. And now leave your left hand on the mat. Bring your right hand on the inside of the knee and press it out. That right foot can be active, the left foot is active. And then from that pressing through the back toes and through the left hand, spiral up and look up at the ceiling over your right shoulder. But don't forget the breath. And slowly come out. Walk that right foot, if it came out to the edge of the mat, walk it back to the center. Hands to heart, and then step to the front of the mat. You might want to spring off that back foot to get there. Come back up standing. Realign your feet, make sure they're about hip distance apart and they're straight, so you're not turned in or out. Your foot's not turned in or out, but it's straight. So now drop your weight into the left foot as you high march the right, or play around with what does it feel like to lift that right foot. Maybe that's where you are, and that is good. And then we're going to bring our right foot back and find a home for it way back on the back of the mat. coming into Crescent Lunge on this side, or Runner's Lunge with the knee down. Doesn't really matter what gets your attention. Breathe. So shoulder blades are down, so your shoulders are away from your ears. Fingertips are reaching and the right heel's pressing back. The right knee wants to bend, but keep it straight-ish. Breathe. Imagine your heart moving forward here, forward of your shoulders, pressing from between your shoulder blades, your heart's going forward, meeting the world with your heart. All right, and now if that back knee, the right knee is up, drop it down, walk that left foot a little wide and bring your hands on the inside of the left foot. So those right toes are still curled under. There's some action in that foot, and now leave the right hand on the mat and bring your left hand up onto the inside of your knee, pressing it out. And then spiral from the base of the spine. Send that energy through all the time. Don't skip from the base of your spine to your heart, like I tried to do. Base of spine, lower belly, pelvis, solar plexus, heart, mid-back, throat, neck, brow, back of head, through crown of the head, looking up over the left shoulder, a spiraling energy. And then come back. Walk your foot, your left foot, more to the center of the mat. Ground down through that. You bring your hands to your heart, step to the front of the mat. And just check in. Notice how your body feels after 30 minutes of practice. Okay, inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. We're going to Vastisthasana. One of the great yoga philosophers, Vasistha. Check that out. Yoga Vasistha is an amazing, amazing text. Comment below if you want more info about that. Bring your left hand right in the center of your mat. Go on the outside of your left foot. Maybe you step the right foot forward and you come up into side angle. Or maybe you stack the right leg on top of the left and lift that hip up. Maybe the leg reaches up. Yoga Vasistha talks about the world is a series of reflections in a mirror. All right, bring that right hand down and ground down to the right hand, outside of right foot. Left foot steps forward or stacks and come up. Breathe. And come on down. And on your knees and sit on your heels. Let your toes go point backwards now. I've had a lot of work with the toes curled under, so just point them backwards. And we did some shoulder work, so let's loosen those shoulders up. We don't want to be one of those yogis that attained amazing things in their midlife and then had shoulder surgeries and hip replacements and knee replacements later on in life. I mean, that might happen anyways, but the idea is that we're doing, and then go the other way. We're doing things that are sustainable for the body. We're not making the body do, we're not making the body do shit just because it's fun and we want to impress somebody or impress ourselves. And then alternate. And then the other way. What if you live to 120, 120? What would you do for your body now to make it so you could still walk and do stuff? Okay, now turn the toes under, and we're going to Malasana. I like to do this like a little bit of a hop. So I active fingers, and I bring some weight into my fingertips, really springy on my hands, and then I just step out into Malasana, just for fun. And then knees are wide, elbows on the insides of the knees, toes are turned out, hands in prayer position, breathe. You wish to embark on, this would be a good staging area. So this would be great for so many things, including crow, which is one of the most fun poses we do on a Saturday morning. But today, just go for it if you want to. I'm not going to do it. So the hips are dropping down, tailbone's dropping down. Breathe and bring the breath again into the belly. Remember where that third chakra is, right at where the ribs meet, about between the belly button and the xiphoid process where the ribs meet. So breathe into there in your Malasana. I'm giving those people that want to try, that want to do crow, time to do that. And then from here, walk like a crab so I can turn the other way. We're going to go to a reverse tabletop. So bring your hands behind you, fingers are pointed forward. Active fingertips to protect the wrist, because see how much extension that is for the wrists, and weight bearing. You're actually preparing for things like handstand and headstand when you do this kind of pose. And then from here, straighten one leg out, but your butt's not on the floor yet. Just your heel and your hands. And then here, also heel and hands. And you're not dropping down, you're pressing the floor away. Now you might feel like, okay, that's plenty, and that's fine. But if you want more, because I know there's people in this class that could do way, way more, reach the heels away and then lift the hips up. Press the soles of the feet towards the floor. Keep those shoulder blades going towards each other. Maybe you look up at the ceiling. Keep breathing. And then we're going to come down, but if you want, you could walk the heels of your hips between your hands. You're still off the mat. And then come up. This time, maybe you bend your knees and do reverse tabletop. And then come down, swing the hips. And then one more. And come down. And now you're in long sitting. Your butt hits the floor. You're welcome. Isn't that nice? And scooch out so that your sit bones are nice and firm on the floor. And reach tall through the crown of the head. Take a moment to feel the energy from your sitting, between your sitting bones, your tailbone, through the spine, straight through the crown of the head. So a vertical line. Your quads are active, your toes are reaching up. Staff pose. So if you like this class and you're looking for something similar, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, Cheyenne High teaches a hatha class, which is very good and sweet. All right, so we're coming out of that now, and press into the floor just so you can bring your hips about middle of your mat. And then we're going to come up just into a brief boat. And then bring your knees in and roll down onto your back. Hug your knees in, stretch out your back. You can straighten and bend your arms to your hips, very passive in this, and you're just pulling and releasing to the base of your spine, which is a great preparation for the spinal twist that we're going to do next. All right, now plant your feet on the mat. Bring your hands out alongside you, palms up in a T, and take your right leg and put it on top of your left. And now drop your right knee to the right. So you're using your right leg as a weight to help open up your left hip, left low back. Maybe, excuse me. Excuse me. Maybe even into your left shoulder. Breathe. Drop that right leg off of the left, come back up the center, and drape the other way. So left knee drapes over the right, drop to the left, opening up through the right hip, low back. You might even feel that in your chest. And drop that left knee off of the right, come back to center. Bring both knees in, hug them in. As you do this, keep your shoulders from rounding forward too much. Keep your shoulder blades dropping down towards your mat as you pull the knees in. We're going to bridge from here, so plant the feet and reach down so you could just graze your heels. And take a look at your knees and have them vertical. So your knees, your thighs are pointing at the ceiling. They're not splaying out. You can squeeze a block between your knees if you have one. And press your hands and forearms into the mat. And press up into a bridge. Bring your thumbs around the back of your pelvis, and you can press up a little bit if you want to support that a little. And you can squeeze your butt a bit to reach up higher. But as you do this, make sure that your inner thighs are still integrated. I mean, pulling together. So your knees aren't splaying out. And notice how that feels more powerful in the lower body. Some of the alignment cues and adjustments that we make are for safety of the joints and muscles. And a lot of them, the detailed alignments, are simply and wonderfully for bringing awareness, a deeper awareness to our body. If you read Light on Yoga, Iyengar talks about that. Right, thinking the adjustment is about doing it right, but a lot of it's just about being aware. So release your hands from your hips, slowly roll down. And we're going to do another bridge. So hips up. And feel that long line through your whole body. Front of pelvis reaching up. Again, visualize a lot of energy through your whole one energy. So now if you want a little more challenge here, press down through your right foot. Keep your pelvis where it is so it's not shifting. Leg up. Pressing through the heel. And come back down. And if you tried that on that side, try it on the other. So pressing down through your left foot, lift your right leg up, pressing through the heel, keep the pelvis from shifting. Nice and stable. And foot back down. And come down out of your bridge. And bring the soles of your feet together, drop your knees out. Supta Baddha Konasana. Arms out alongside you, palms up. And become aware of your whole front body. You can be. How free and deep your breath can be. So a couple of options here. I always like to give options because I don't know how you're feeling and what you need from your practice. But some things that can be really good at this point in a practice are happy baby, which is you would bring your knees up and hold on to the soles of your feet, point the soles of your feet, opener for the base of the spine and low back. Or maybe for you, shoulder stand. My audio, that's why. For shoulder stand, you look straight up. There's no pressure on the neck, and you press through your hands. And walk your hands up your back towards your head, and legs reach. Or something else. But these are great final positions before Shavasana. So keep doing. But when you're ready, I'll start cueing for Shavasana if you're ready for Shavasana. But just let my voice fade off into the background if you're absorbed in something. Or just turn off the video and do the rest of your practice on your own. But if you do, make sure you finish with Shavasana. So as you're ready for Shavasana, allow your legs to straighten below you, but a little wider so your heels are pointed toward. When you get there, if there's any pressure in your low back, it's worth the effort to Get up and get a pillow and put it under your knees so that your back's super comfortable. Notice the contact of your back body on your mat. Just really relish that support. Take the time to give yourself permission to feel supported because you are. Give yourself permission to feel the calm, the peace, the joy, and the love within you because that's who you are. Give yourself the time and permission to connect to the peace and calm, love and joy within you because that's who we all are. Allow the body to rest here. Allow your skeleton, all your bones to rest here. Allow your muscles to all turn off here and rest. Allow your heart to beat freely, openly. Allow yourself to feel freely and openly. Let go of control of your breath. Let the muscles of your face and jaw go slack. Allow your eyes to rest in the backs of their sockets. Allow your ears to drop down towards the earth. Allow your heart to shine openly at the sky. Allow your pelvis to be soft and open and integrated with the rest of you. Feel the freedom and energy in your feet. I bow down and acknowledge my teachers, Swami Nityananda, Swami Muktananda, Swami Chitvalasananda Muji, Sadhgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Peace. Have a beautiful day, everyone.